Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and my craft table. And I'm so glad that you're here with me today because I have a fun project to share with you. So the other day I brought a video to the channel showing you how to make these acrylic bookmarks. I had some SVGs, I had some vinyl, and we put them on acrylic bookmarks with some beautiful chiffon ribbon for Teacher Appreciation Week. Well, today I'm going to be taking those same SVGs and we're going to turn those into beautiful thank you cards. So let's head into Design Space. I'm going to show you how to prep the SVGs for making a beautiful card, and then we will come back to the craft table and put them together. Okay, here I am in Design Space, and I'm going to show you how I turned the SVGs that we used for the bookmarks into cards. So I'm going to go here to My Stuff. I'm going to click on the file. So I'm going to go ahead and click Customize. All right, brought everything into the main canvas. So a couple of things need to happen. I do need to go through each one of these bookmarks. And over in my Layers panel, I need to click on the down arrow and I need to come down to Bookmark and hit the eyeball. And that will get rid of the actual bookmark. We don't need that piece. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to grab all of these and let me group them for now and move them down out of the way. Then I want to go to Shapes. I'm going to grab a square, collapse that. I'm going to change the color to white, mainly for visual purposes. And then I'm going to change the size. I'll hit the unlock button. Let's change it to 4.25 by 5.5. I'm going to lock that back. And this is going to represent the card base. Next, I want to duplicate that square. Okay. And let's change that color to black. And then I'm going to change that size. Let's just do 4 by 5.25. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lock that back. And this is going to represent the black grounding panel. And I'm going to move it on top of the base. You can see the snap lines. That tells me that that is centered. This is just a mock-up of what I want to see when I actually go to make the cards. The next thing I want to do is I grab 2 more squares. I'm going to move this one over here because I will need that. And then let's change this one to white. And let's change this one to white. Okay, so this one here, I'm going to change this size. Let's do 3 7/8. So that'll be 3.875. Whoa, not sure what happened there. 3.875 and then 4.875. I'm going to lock that. Bring this in and we're going to check that out. I don't think I made it tall enough. Oh, I needed to go a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to do 5 1/8. Get that centered, and that's way better. So this is what my card base, the grounding panel, and the card panel are going to look like. And I'm going to bring down this one because I'm going to need that for all of these. Okay, we'll move this over here. Okay, next I want to work with this one. Okay, let's bring this one in. Okay, so this panel here is 4 1/4 by 5.25. Let's change this one. We're going to change this to 3.75 by 5. Okay, I'm going to lock that back. This is my panel. And then this one is going to go on top. See how it needs to go on top. So I'm going to go to the 3 dots. Then I'm going to go to Arrange and send to front. Bring it over here. And you can see that my geometric panel is too big. So let's make it a little bit smaller. Let's make this pretty even. So I'm going to go into Sizing, unlock it. Let's turn this into 3.5 and let's do 4.75. Okay, nice and clean. All right. So now going to go to align center. These two right here, I've selected them. You can see that in my layers panel. I want to go down to the bottom of the layers panel and I want to click flatten. Okay, that's just turned this into one panel. Okay, this is going to be print and cut, so I do need that. And then this looks pretty good. I really like that. And I like the bigger margin on this one. Okay, bring that back out. Next, I want to grab this thank you right here. And we are going to go ahead and give this an offset. So I'm going to go to offset. And then I don't need it that big. So let's take it down to, let's do 0.97, something like that. I'm going to click apply, and then I'm going to go to the color, change it to white. And then you have two places to contour. This is up at the top now. It's also in the bottom of the layers panel where you are used to seeing it. I click here, and I don't want to have the Cricut cut all that. So I'm going to hit hide all contours and apply. Okay, so I have these. I'm going to change this background color so you can see things. So now I have this, and that's what it looks like. Let's click on that, and I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to bring that down here. We'll need one of those for the other cards. Then I'm going to bring this one over here, but I do need to bring it to the front. So I'm going to click the more. I'm going to go down to arrange and bring to front. Okay, this looks pretty good. I use my little snap lines, and there we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select both of those. I'm going to attach. Okay, and then I want to come down here and I want to flatten. All right, this is one print and cut image. And that is what the finished card will look like when we get that ready. Okay, I'm going to move this one just kind of out of the way. All right, so now we have this one. We have all of these. I want to go through each one of these. I need to ungroup them. Okay, I'm going to turn each one of these into its own flattened image. So I'm going to click on this one and I'm going to hit flatten. We're going to move that over here. I'm going to click on that one and flatten. This purple one, flatten. And I'm just going to continue down the line. Okay, so that these are all flattened, I have a couple of cards that I want to do. I want to do one big group. Let me group these, and then I'm going to duplicate the group, and I'm going to move it over here out of the way. We'll work with that in a minute. I'm going to come over here to this white panel, and I want to duplicate that one. And actually, I'm going to move it over here because we'll use that in a minute. And then I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are all grouped together, and I will ungroup these so we can work with them. All right, I'm going to grab a panel. I'm going to duplicate my thank you, and then I'm going to grab one of these. So then I'm going to bring up one of the little bookmark florals, and I do need to bring it to the front. In fact, let's make this easy. I'm going to click on the panel, and then I'm going to go to arrange and send it to the back. All right, so this definitely needs to come in, and I'm just sizing it to what I think is good to my eye. Okay, and each one of these is a little different. So then I'm going to bring this up and maybe bring it in just a little bit. And I'll put this one where I think I like that. This looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to grab the thank you, and I'm going to grab the flower, and I want to attach them. And then I'm going to grab all three of these. I'm going to have my thank you flower layer and the white panel. I'm going to grab both of those. I want to come down here and I will flatten it. You can see everything it says print and cut. So that is this right here. And that card is done. And this is what I'm going to do all the way down the line. So I will do one more with you. So let's just work with the next one. I'm going to bring this over. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. Maybe I'll make it a little bit smaller, but I'm actually pleased with the sizing of that. I'm going to bring in the thank you. Now that definitely needs to come down some. And just put that where you think you like it. I love that. So now I'm going to grab both of these and then I'm going to flatten them. They're one image now. And then I'm going to take all of that, flatten it. And now I have my second card. All right, so I'm just going to continue this process all the way down the line. And then when I come back, we'll work on the last card. Okay, so now we have all of these. So let's turn our attention to this one. Now this card in particular, if I scroll back up, this white panel, just like the others, fits right on here, but I'm going to turn this into a landscape. So while I have this selected, I'm going to just click and drag on the corner. If I hold down my shift key, you can see that it's just going to go in increments. Now we have a horizontal card. Next, I want to take the thank you. I'm going to move it up here in the middle. I need to bring it to the front, just like that. And I'm going to shrink it just a little bit and move it over to the center. And then all of these, well, let me ungroup them. And while they are all selected together, I'm going to click on more and I'm going to go to align and I'm going to align along the bottom. Okay. And then I want to go back to those three little dots, align, and I want to distribute horizontally. So now they're kind of, lined up along the bottom. Well, they're spread out all along. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to group them again, just so they don't move on me. And I'm going to drag the corner. And we want to make these relatively small. You could also just go up to the sizing box. I'm going to do this and notice it goes behind. So I do need to bring it to the front. So we're going to click on more, arrange, bring to front. And you can see that I still have a ways to go. So I'm just going to bring them down to about like that. I think that looks really good. And then let's see, is it in the middle? Yep, it's in the middle. And then I'm going to bring the thank you down to about right there. So the thank you is now in the middle between the top and the top of the flowers. So the next thing I want to do is I want to grab all of these and I'm going to go to more and I'm going to go to flatten. Okay, so this is now one ginormous image. And this will be a landscape card. So I have one that has all of these that match the bookmarks exactly. I think these look amazing. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and hit save. If you are someone who is having Cricut cut everything for you, you will need to duplicate the black panel. You'll need to duplicate that a total of 8 or 9 times, however many of these that you're cutting out. And then if you're having it do your card bases, you'll need several of those as well. I have black cardstock that I'm using. I'm just going to cut it with the paper trimmer. And then the white panel back here is actually my card base. So I'm going to take both of these and I'm going to come over here to my layers panel and I'm going to hide those. All right, so I think this is great. Now, if I wanted to, I could duplicate a bunch of these. Let's just do about 4. So I think I got everything ready to go. I'm going to again, click on save. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and click the make button. So then here you're going to see that I've got one here and one here. So I've got these two, and I can go all the way through the different mats and click continue. And then for each of these, I'm going to click send to printer, and next I'm going to select my printer. I will turn the bleed off. You do not need the bleed. Then I will do use system dialog. I will hit print, and then the dialog box will come up. I'll double check my printer and my paper size. I'm going to go to quality, and I want to do high quality, best quality, whichever one. I do not need to print these. I actually have already printed them. So at this point, I'm just going to cancel out of this window. But this is where you would click print. Okay, so we can just pretend that it is currently printing at my printer right now. I'm going to click done. And then while I'm waiting for that, I would go through each screen and I would send to printer, and then hit done, come back here, go to the next one, send to printer, etc. And I do that for all 6 of these pages. All right, so now what I would have is a stack of 6 pages from my printer, and I can use 80-pound cardstock in my printer. So that's what I would be using. Okay, and then as far as the cutting, I'm going to go to mat number 1, and I'm going to click on medium cardstock. You can select more pressure if you would like. If you're using a lighter cardstock, you don't really need to do that. Then you can click remember material settings. That will tell the Cricut that every single mat is the same. And then you will load it into your Cricut according to the directions here and hit your go button. This would already say printed. This would still be the same here. Then I would load and go. And I would do that all the way through all 6 pages. And then at the very end, down here in the bottom left, it will tell you that you are done, and we can then get out of design space. So we are done with this portion of the project. I will meet you back over at the craft table, and we are going to put these together. All right, we're done with design space. And what I want to start out doing first is I want to put together the card bases. Part of the reason for that is I want to stamp a sentiment on the inside, or I guess, yeah, it's a sentiment. But what I want to do is stamp that and let it dry before I start assembling the card. So what I have here are 3 card bases, and these are from scrapbook.com. They had a special the other day. They're rolling out new cardstock. These are pre-cut, pre-scored. They come in a package. I forget how many, but they do have a stack of envelopes, and they've got the card panel. So I thought, great, they were running a special. I decided to try them out. So we're going to try them out today. Basically, I have them in here, and it is already pre-cut and pre-scored. But what I like to do is I like to use the corner of my scoreboard, actually, and I like to push everything up in that corner. And that way I know that when I go to press with my bone folder, that I'm going to get a really good fold. Okay, so that's 1. And then we'll have 2. And then 3. Okay, and if you're new to card making, I always have the bump of the scoring line on the inside. Okay, so we bury the bump, or you could think of it like the valley of the score line. We're going to turn that into a mountain, which however you want to look at it. But here are our 3 card bases. Then on the back, I always put print-then-cut stickers on the back. I've got quite a few to use up. I do now have a stamp that just says created by and my name, but I want to go ahead and use up these stickers that I've made, and they work wonderful, and I love that I can customize these for different holidays and seasons, etc. I'm going to bring in my Misty, and we're going to stamp on the inside. These are stamps from Paper Tray Ink. Now, they are scripture, so my daughter goes to our church. They have a school all the way up through 12th grade. That's where she goes to school. So I had gotten these from Paper Tray Ink recently, and I thought these would be wonderful to put on the inside of the card in addition to our message. So I have numbers 6, 24 through 26. And then I also have Romans 15:13, and they're just beautiful. So I have the stamps here because I actually was already testing them out before. This is my card, and it's top folding. It's going to open up like this. I'm going to be writing here the message, and then the stamp will be here. These are quite big stamps. So we're going to put them into our Misty. I want this back corner, so it's kind of upside down. And then this is the back side, this is the back of the card. This is the inside of the top of the card. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Perfect. Okay, now this little magnet is really just kind of here to kind of hold things in place. And then we're going to be stamping these like this, right on the inside. Okay, let me go ahead and grab my ink. So for sentiments, I like to use VersaFine ink. So this is VersaFine Clear Nocturne Premium Pigment ink, and I love it. This is what I use for most of my sentiments, unless I'm doing like a foiled sentiment or heat embossing, something like that. But it's just this beautiful, dark, crisp pigment ink. So we're gonna ink up our stamps. Now this one here, the words "in him" do have like a distressed look to them. You could put anything, like you could put images, you could put some other sentiment. I just happen to be using some scripture stamps that I recently got, which is fitting because it is a Christian school. So I'm going to put this down in my Misty, give this a good press, give it a minute to transfer the ink. Okay. All right. Look how beautiful those look. Aren't those so pretty? Those look so good. And notice I don't have to stamp these again. That's why I love that pigment ink. It's just awesome. So I'm going to take the whole sticky mat out of my Misty, and then I'm going to just bend it backwards, and I can pull these off without bending the cardstock. And then these are going to sit over to the side here. So the pigment ink does usually need a little bit of time to dry. Okay, so now we have our other one. I think I want to use this one here. So I'm going to plop that right back down in the corner and then put my little magnet there. And actually this is pretty sticky, so I'm just going to put the magnet here. Okay, so another thing I'm going to do before I actually stamp is I keep, whenever I have things that come out of my printer and the paper is kind of wonky, I just cut it down into little pieces that I can use for various, lists or whatever, or something like this, where I don't need to stamp this again, but it has ink on it still, so I don't want it to get it all over my sticky mat. So I'm going to just put that in there, and then if any ink were to come off it still, that's fine. It'll go on the paper. Okay, we're going to ink this up again. Okay, and then go ahead and press this down and give this a good press, not too hard, but enough that the pressure will help get the ink transferred. And we're going to give it a minute, just like we did the others. Okay, that's probably good. I'm going to lift that up. Perfect transfer. Love it. And I'm just going to stick my fingers up under there. So this is fantastic. I'm going to put that over there and let that dry. Okay, so the next thing that I need to do is I need to prepare the front that goes onto the card base. So I have 3 black grounding panels. This is the one that I made just with all of the bookmarks. This one's actually pretty good, ready to go. I don't need to cut this one down at all. So I'm going to check this one. Okay, and then this one, the more I think about it, maybe I want to let that have a big wide margin. Let's take a look really quick. I'm going to grab an envelope and pretend that it's a card base. We have something like that, or we could make it a skinnier margin and let that. Oh, I really kind of like the big wide black margin. So guess what? We don't have to cut anything. That's fantastic. So we're just going to go ahead and get these put together. These are the kind of cards that are being hand delivered, and I could totally use foam panels on these, but I think for, today, I'm really just going to use, well, I was going to use a tape runner. Okay, let me change out my tape runner and I will be right back. Okay, tape runner's all fixed. Get some on the back here. I would not say tape runner is my favorite, but in a pinch, it's good. So I'm going to bring in my card panel here, and I'm going to get this centered up and bring it a little closer to me. So I'm sorry if my head gets in the way. That looks about even. Okay, so here's one card panel. Then we're going to do the same with the other two. Now, down in the comments, first of all, you're going to have to tell me what you think of the idea of reusing your SVGs for different types of crafts. So, for instance, we're using this one for a card, and we've already used it for a bookmark. I like the idea of getting a lot of mileage out of my supplies and my SVGs. So this is great. This might need to be trimmed just a slightly on this side. It looks a little wonky. I don't think I can pull that up. So we'll have to fix that in a second. And then I have this one here. Now this one's a little bit bigger. So this will give us the little tiny margin. And I'm pretty good at the tiny margins. But anyway, you'll have to let me know what you like to do. Like, do you like to repurpose your SVGs for other crafts? I think it's a smart idea. And then also, let me know down in the comments if you are doing anything for Teacher Appreciation Week. Maybe you have a friend, a relative, maybe you have a friend, a relative, children, grandchildren, etc. Okay, so let's get this lined up. I'm just going to trim this down. I'm just going to kind of go around all sides and see if I need to trim anything up. So if you are doing stuff for Teacher Appreciation Week, let us know down in the comments, like specifically, what are you putting together? Do you have any creative ideas to share with everyone here? I do think that looks better. Okay, we are good with that. Move that back out of the way. Now I do think the card panels have had some time to dry. What I'm going to do is turn them over. Let me grab one of my little magnets here. We're going to put these on the front of the card. And again, today I am just using my tape runner. All right, let's get this centered up to the best of my ability. Wonderful. And for this design, I really do think that that black margin that's a little bit wider on this one is a great idea. So I'm glad I did not cut that one down. These, I think the grounding panel being really slim is a good idea. Okay, and so here, I'm going to go ahead and get this one. And now that I am taking a look, what I did is when I stamped this, I forgot that one of these needed to be horizontal. So this should have been up and down. So I'm going to have to fix that off camera, and that'll be okay. I can use that particular card base for another card, because I do think that I have about 3 or 4 cards that need to go out for birthdays for some veterans and active duty. So that'll be perfect. All right, so these two, we're going to go ahead and continue on with these two. So what I want to show you is something that I love splatter, but I'm kind of intimidated by it. And I see Amy R. Savvy use it all the time. Kathy Zilski uses it all the time. And I haven't practiced enough, but I have seen Carly T. Miner lately show how she does her faux splatter. So she just basically uses a marker. That's what I'm going to use here. I'm going to use my black alcohol marker. So what I'm going to do, I think this one I actually might use something different for this one, or for this one I don't think I'm going to do any splatter at all, simply because I don't think this needs it, right? This one kind of does. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to come up here to the top. And you know how sometimes above a flower you can see like the stamens are up, or maybe you've got little bitty things floating around up there above a flower. So I'm just going to kind of put some faux splatters up here, okay? And then maybe we'll do some kind of around, let's see, how about we do maybe a couple over here? Kind of start dipping down into the word over this way. And really, it's just kind of however you feel you want to do stuff. I was playing around with it. I don't think I'm great at this either, but at least I don't have splatter stuff all over the place. So that's good. And you could even just keep going right up. Okay, so I've kind of got this line going on right here. That actually is probably good, and I'm gonna let that be. Okay, so let me grab some of the other ones that I've already put together, and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do with the envelopes, because I think that is super fun as well. Okay, so I have my stack of envelopes here, and this card is now fixed. It is ready to go. And I just used a quick different sentiment because I had the card base ready. This one just says "You're the best" on the inside. I will probably go back and put the scripture on over here, but for the meantime, this one is ready to go. So these are the couple that we have made together. And then these are the ones that I had done prior to filming. And you can see my attempting at faux splatter. So you'll have to let me know if you think this looks really good, or if you think it doesn't look really good, or if it's okay and I just need more practice. So I have this dark teal one, a green, the sage purple, the magenta, the pink one, the lighter teal, and then we have, of course, our masculine one for our gentleman math teacher. So these are all of these these are literally the exact ones, SVGs. The bookmark and the card, they match exactly. How perfect is that? I think that's fun. These are ready to go in our envelopes. Super excited about that. And then envelopes. So something that I'm trying to remember in addition to putting sentiments inside cards this year, I'm also trying to remember the whole package includes the envelope. So we should probably do something with the envelope. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do some printable vinyl stickers just over here in the corner. Now again, these aren't being mailed. These are being hand delivered to the teachers at the school. This is just printable vinyl. There's no dimension to it. Printed all of those out. I had the Cricut cut around that offset that I had made, and I'm just gonna put it right over here. So that white offset that I created, that just blends right into the envelope. So there's one. Let's go ahead and do the others. All right, I've got all of these on here. So to match the cards that they go with, We've got our pink, our dark teal, our green, our purple, magenta, our sage, and our light teal. Now, something I noticed, I don't know if I had it on my hands or something, but I have like, it's almost like a smudge of ink, or kind of like when you have pencil in your hand and you smudge a pencil. So I'm just using a sand eraser, and that's going to take that right off. Okay, and now you'd never know that was there. These are perfect. They're ready to go. All right, well, here are all of the cards. These came out gorgeous. Love it. So I'm so pleased at how they came out. I did think for a moment when I was putting them together if I should use vinyl to do these, like heat transfer vinyl on paper, which is amazing, but I decided to keep it simple and just went with print then cut. So what a great way to reuse an SVG. That is fantastic. Then I also did the print then cut stickers to put here on the envelopes, and I didn't use regular sticker material. This is actually printable vinyl, and it just did the job perfectly. So I want to thank you so much for spending your time with me today. Don't forget to like the video or hype it, share it with your crafty friends. And if you're not already subscribed, I'd love to have you to here. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And until I see you in the next card or craft, as always, have an amazing day and happy crafting. Thank you all so much for watching today. I'm so glad that you can join me at my craft table. If you're not already, I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you'll know when new videos arrive. Have a great day, and as always, happy crafting.